welcome to my review of Devil May Cry 5. That's right, the hype actually led to something, and now I'm reviewing it. Without spoiling it, too, because I sort of already did that. Oh, by the way, this review is for the PS4 version only. I did consider playing it on PC, but I figured my computer would attempt to become sentient and download a bunch of viruses just to spite me if I tried to run a game this modern on it. I do have a Patreon, you know. So, Devil May Cry 5 is the latest installment in the Devil May Cry series, obviously. It's been, 11 years since Devil May Cry 4. What is this, Persona? Well, the series took a short detour after DMC4 with that weird reimagining by Ninja Theory. I reviewed that game, actually. Long story short, the gameplay was fun, but the story and characters left a lot to be desired. Also, this scene, yeah, they did that. Not so funny now that their version did not get a sequel, but I'm sure there's no hard feelings over it. But enough of that. Devil May Cry 5 was massively hyped for months leading up to its release. Hype that I, unfortunately, had to suffer through, mostly because of this guy. We'll get to it. Let's start with the story, which is told a bit haphazardly. I'll try to speedrun it. The game jumps around from current time to flashbacks at random, but the gist of it is that Dante is a demon hunter and he's been hired by V to defeat a powerful demon that is resurrecting and is gonna wreck the world shit. Nero, he was a playable character in DMC4, is also involved, and Dante is not cool with that, probably because Nero got his special demon arm, it's a long story, ripped off by a dude in a cloak. Dante went up into this big evil demon tree to fight the big bad demon Urizen along with his two friends, associates, Trish and Lady. They got their asses kicked, Nero and V tried to save them, but were forced to retreat. And now, 1 month later, Nero, along with his engineer Nico, is going to meet up with V and take down the tree and probably save the world. Jesus. Why did they wait a month? I don't know, I guess Nico needed time to build Nero a new arm. They're really punching a clock the whole game though, so they probably should have done this sooner. So unless you're already familiar with the series, the story probably won't make much sense. But, you know, cutscene YouTube videos are your friend, so if you're that concerned, just have a DMC movie night to prepare. And maybe watch the anime? There were references. Never mind, don't watch the anime. All I'm saying is you don't have to buy 4 other games to get into this one. So let's talk gameplay, and oh boy, is there some gameplay. First off, there are 3 playable characters, Nero, Dante, and V, and the game is split up into missions. We start off as Nero. He's got a sword, and a gun, and a robot arm called a Devil Breaker that explodes sometimes. You start off with basic abilities and buy upgrades with red orbs you collect. Wait, that's not an orb. That's a face. Whose face is that? Your health bar upgrades and items carry over to each character, but combos and moves are purchased separately. That's capitalism, I guess. You can get a bunch of different arms for Nero, but they break if you get hurt while using one. Luckily, you can hold all these arms, and they all have different abilities. I mostly just stuck to the basics, though. Yeah, stopping time is cool, but it's kinda awkward to use. I think the one thing most people know about the DMC series, even if they haven't played it, is the style system. Depending on how cool you are when you're fighting, you get more points. Don't ask me how the game determines this, I think you just have to pull off combos and not get hit. But hey, you say, I suck at video games and I still want to look cool anyway. And I feel you. I feel you in my very soul. Luckily, there's an auto-assist mode that randomly generates attack combos for you. This footage is just about the only time I used it. Like, sure, it looks cool, but you lose a lot of control with it, and the game takes points off your final score for using it. But it is an option, which I appreciate all the same. Anyway, Nero's gameplay is pretty solid, and he's fun to fight as, but his missions tend to have some platforming in between the various fights, and the platforming is not good. Sure, you gotta explore the level fully to find secret missions, I get it, but this sucks. You know what doesn't suck, though? Playing as V. I'ma be real with y'all, V is my boy, and I love him. Yeah, I have a type, not gonna get into that, but he's also my boy because his playstyle is my favorite. So, V doesn't look like much of a heavy hitter, right? Yeah, 'cause he's not. He's got demonic familiars to do the fighting for him. They're also his tattoos and hair, figure that one out.
Don't forget about the Scissor Man.
Not the Scissorman.
Well, I didn't realize you were going to go apeshit.
Scissorman!
Please stop.
So his basic attacks come from Shadow and Griffin, but you can't just chill while they fight. You have to dodge enemies and stay close to them, or else their health bars will go down and they'll get stalemated for a short time. You can either wait for them to come back, or if your Devil Trigger gauge reaches 3 bars, you can summon Nightmare to bring them back immediately. Also, V can fill up the gauge by reading poetry from his book, and all I can say about that is I super need someone to rip the audio for V's voice lines from the game file. I don't know who Brian Hanford is, but his voice acting can get it. Anyway, summoning Nightmare. Nightmare is this big golem thing that attacks automatically unless you get the upgrade that lets you ride him, which is awesome. Not only does he bring explosions with him, he can also break down walls to reveal secret areas.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid, here comes Kool-Aid, I'm gonna save the day.
And bonus, he's the familiar that lives in V's hair, so once you summon him, you get to see V with white hair, and he looks fabulous. I gotta stop fangirling. So the familiars can't actually kill the demons for you. After they've worn them out, you have to finish them off with V's cane. He'll kind of just like teleport to them, but sometimes it doesn't totally work right, and he just kind of swings his cane around in midair. It usually works though. His gameplay is so unique, and it's just so cool to play as him. He's also the only character I got triple S rank with, so he might be a bit OP. If OP stands for obviously perfect, God, I love him. Moving on. Finally, we have Dante. He comes in about halfway through the game, and I have to say, I'm terrible at playing Dante. I don't know why, but his playstyle feels absurdly complicated to me. And I grant you, I have no idea how he played in the previous games, but this is a little much for me. So Dante has swords and guns, and you'd think it wouldn't be so difficult because, hey, Nero has a sword and a gun, but Dante has multiple swords and multiple guns that you switch through with the L and R buttons. But there are also different modes you can choose with the D-pad for different fighting styles, and it all went over my head, and I just found myself switching between gunslinger and sword mode because this is just too much for my noob ass. I'm sure many fans of the series were really excited about this and pulled off some sweet combos with this playstyle, but I could not. And I somewhat dreaded playing as him, actually. The motorcycle sword was boss, though. Also, if you're having trouble, Dante has a Devil Trigger mode as well that regains health and makes him look like this, which I'm sure someone's into. Now, here's something really cool that was super unnecessary. Since the game has 3 playable characters, you can play through the same areas on a different route depending on who you play as, and sometimes you can see the other characters fighting from a distance. And those aren't just computers running around, they're other players playing the game. They're basically recordings of other players, but there are times when it's a live person you're matched with. I have no footage of that though because I don't have PlayStation Plus. I'm not gonna buy it either. You're telling me Sony can't afford to provide free online service when these consoles cost $400? Anyway, it serves no practical purpose, but I guess it does make the other characters feel more real in a way. And it kinda does make me want to show off some sick skills just in case I end up in someone else's playthrough. I'm just amazed the devs actually thought to do something like this. It's a really nice touch. The cameos might also remind you to use taunts by pressing the weird pad in the middle of the PS4 controller, and no, I still don't get the point of that thing. You can perform a random taunt that makes your style rank go up. V has the best taunts, by the way. I'm not biased. But yeah, overall the gameplay is excellent, the boss fights are cool, and I only died once on easy mode, so it's extremely playable, even if you're as bad as me. Oh, and this neat little extra, photo mode. Yeah, you can pause the game and take cool action photos from any angle you want, which must have been a great relief to those poor fan artists who are having such a hard time drawing V's tattoos. I don't want to sound dramatic, but fan artists are like 8% of the reason why I haven't given up on life, so support them in their struggles. And I know I make a big to-do about how graphics aren't everything, But these are some pretty sick graphics, man. Something I didn't realize I like about some modern AAA games until now is how they use actual people as models for the in-game characters. It's not just something I appreciate on a realism level, it's also the fact that, hey, this really attractive video game character may not exist. But their face does, and it belongs to a model with about a zillion photos of themselves online. You know, it sounds creepy now that I've said it out loud. Whatever. Hey, Owen McGinnity, you have an attractive face. What do I care? He's never gonna watch this. And side note, I also appreciate this extremely legible graffiti, cause I live by the tracks, and the shit I've seen on the side of train cars makes me feel illiterate. Step your game up, taggers. After the game is over, you can replay any mission you like and check out some cool extras in the menu, like concept art or the cutscene movies. Do yourself a favor and watch the cutscenes on YouTube, though, because there is a loading screen between every single scene. There's also an option here to visit the store. I thought the store would be DLC, but no. Even a game this good can't escape fucking microtransactions. Here, pay some money for orbs. After all, that special taunt costs 3 million of them. Just buy the orbs. Get it quicker. Suddenly I'm flashing back to EA's pride and accomplishment comment. At least they don't shove it in your face. Also, there were extra skins if you pre-ordered, which I hate. Fuck pre-orders. It was still a great game, though. Don't need to pre-order to know that. I kinda wish it was a bit longer. The main game took about 15 hours, but there's replay value for completionists, I guess. In the end, I was pretty satisfied with what I got. It was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it, but if you can avoid it, maybe don't buy it on PS4. There was that weird censorship thing, which was only on Western PS4s. That looks so bad. When I first saw that, I thought the devs were trying to be funny, but no. It's just bad. What the hell, Sony? Anyway, if your computer is capable, you should probably play it on PC. If only because of the modding capabilities. I've seen some interesting mods. Some very interesting mods. Yeah, we should probably stop this here. It was still a great game, though. Besides that, I was a bit disappointed with how the story turned out. I'm not alone in that, so I do feel validated somewhat. Still disappointed, though. Whatever. I'll let fanfictions and fan AUs pick up the slack. I don't have a problem. So if you want to see what's next, subscribe, and the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.